City of Salem, February 12th, 2024. A regular meeting of the City Council was held in person on Monday, February 12th, 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice this meeting was posted on February 8th, 2024 at 9:16 a.m. This meeting is being recorded and is live on SATV and Zoom unless technological issues interrupt the transmission. Counselors absent, none. Councilor President Hapworth presided. Councilor Varela moved to dispense with the reading of the previous meeting. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. President Hapworth requested that everyone please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Cohen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Salem City Council honors this land as Namkeg, or fishing place, where generations of Namkeg people from the Pawtucket Band of the Massachusetts tribe lived and passed through for centuries. We acknowledge this is unceded indigenous land and also acknowledge the Massachusetts tribe who continue to honor and hold this land into the present. Salem City Council is committed to having ongoing meaningful dialogue with indigenous peoples who have presence in Salem in order to dismantle the legacies of oppression and inequities that persist today. Public testimony is not to exceed 15 minutes. Public testimony is not a public hearing or question and answer period. Sign up must occur 30 minutes prior to the meeting. The president shall, depending on the number of speakers, set a time limit not to exceed 3 minutes, which each individual presenting testimony must abide by. We have nobody signed up today. Before we get started, just want to acknowledge the city clerk and assistant city clerk for their hard work over the last week. We are here on a Monday for a reason, but it's because that they worked so hard on Tuesday night to ensure that we got that agenda posted, and unfortunately we ran into technological issues, but just appreciate their hard work. Hearings. I'm sorry.
Thank you. We have an order from Comcast to install conduits on Central Street for service at 311 Derby Street.
The request by Comcast to install conduits on Central Street for service at 311 Derby Street. Those appearing in favor, please make your way to the podium or use the raise hand function on Zoom.
Good evening, Dave Llewellyn, Comcast, 9 Forbes Road, Woburn, Massachusetts. Would like to speak in favor of the Comcast petition to place 330 feet of conduit for the purpose of providing service to number 311 Derby Street.
Any questions for Mr. Llewellyn? Anybody else appearing in favor? Councilor Prosnewski, would you raise your hand? Councilor Prosnewski? Anyone? Councilor Jerslow.
I just had a couple questions. Oh, sorry, thank you. I just had a couple questions. You're using the existing manhole cover on Central Street, and you're replacing one or putting a new one on?
Putting a new one in,
Street?
yes.
Okay. The sidewalk panel that you're removing and you're putting back on Derby Street, I'm not sure if it's the brick one or is it the regular paved?
I don't recall. I'd have to look at the plan, but if they're brick or concrete, it will be replaced in kind.
Okay, great, thank you. And also, the Derby Lofts is actually repointing the building on Central Street right now. Are you doing the work soon, or?
We wouldn't do this work until after the winter moratorium ends on April 15th, so we would apply for our permit on or about April 15th.
Okay, I know they were a long time on Derby Street repointing it, so if you start doing your construction while they're repointing it, it'd be kind of cut off the whole street, so maybe you can work with the building inspector and kind of, so once they're done, then you can start your work?
Yes, we'll coordinate our work.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions from the council? We'll now move to those appearing in opposition. Those appearing in opposition, please make your way to the podium or use the raise hand function on Zoom. Seeing none. Councilor Jerslow.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I move to close the public hearing.
Councilor Jerslow moves to close the public hearing. All those in favor? All opposed? Hearing is closed. Councilor Jerslow.
I move that it's granted.
Councilor Jerslow moves that this be granted. Any discussion?
No.
No discussion, seeing none. On the motion by Councilor Jerslow to grant the request by Comcast to install conduits on Central Street for service at 311 Derby Street, all those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further hearings.
We have an order from Comcast to install conduits on Church Street for service at 71 Washington Street.
Request by Comcast to install conduits on Church Street for service at 71 Washington Street. Those appearing in favor, please make your way to the podium or use the raise hand function on Zoom.
Dave Walling, Comcast, 9 Forbes Road, Woburn, Massachusetts. Like to speak in favor of the Comcast petition to place 35 feet of conduit for the purpose of providing service to number 71 Washington Street.
Any questions from the council? Watson-Felt.
Thank you, President Hapworth. Just a quick question. So the agenda here says conduits, multiple, but I understand you're going to leverage a single conduit that already exists. Are you also installing another conduit as well?
It'd be a new conduit,
Oh, they are.
1 3-inch PVC conduit.
Starting at the existing Comcast manhole located 65 Church Street, excavating to place 1 3-inch PVC conduit 35 feet.
Yes.
So where will the additional manhole be? I mean, the additional conduit?
We're starting at the existing manhole. There is no new manhole on this one.
That's my question. Okay, thank you. All right, great. No further questions.
Any other questions from the council? Seeing none, we'll now move to those appearing in opposition. I'm sorry, is anyone else appearing in favor? I assume not. We'll now move to those appearing in opposition. If you're appearing in opposition, please make your way to the podium or use the raise hand function on Zoom. Seeing none, Councilor Watson-Felt.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I move that we close the public hearing.
Councilor Watson-Felt moves to close the public hearing. All those in favor? All opposed? The hearing is closed. Councilor Watson-Felt.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I further move this be granted.
Councilor Watson-Felt moves this be granted. Under discussion?
No discussion.
On the motion by Councilor Watson-Felt that we grant the request by Comcast to install conduits on Church Street for service at 71 Washington Street. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further hearings.
We have an order from Centerline Communications to install telecommunication attachments in the public right-of-way, 252 R Bridge Street.
Further request by Centerline Communications to install communications attachments conduit in the public right-of-way at 253 R Bridge Street. Those appearing in favor, please make your way to the podium and use the raise hand function on Zoom.
Thank you, City Councilors, for hearing us this evening. My name is Edward Parry. It's P-A-R-E. I'm an attorney at Brown Rudnick, One Financial Center in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm here on behalf of AT&T. As we've done on a few occasions before the City Council, we're seeking an approval for a small cell facility on a utility pole. This particular pole is located near 252R Bridge Street. So it's right near where the roadways on North Road and Bridge Street run, so we're kind of isolated from a residential perspective. As you see in our application materials, we're about 500 feet from the nearest residential structure. The installation itself consists of a small diameter antenna at the top of the pole. The pole will be replaced. There'll be an equipment cabinet attached to the side of the pole, and then conduits, electricity, and fiber will run to the small cell facility and associated equipment. It's a pretty standard, straightforward installation. We did provide a number of documents with our application, including photos, photo sims, et cetera, detailed plans. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Seeing none. Anyone else appearing in favor? Seeing none. We will now move to those appearing in opposition. If you're appearing in opposition, please make your way to the podium or use the raise hand function on Zoom. Seeing none, Councilor Stott.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Perry, for our conversations this past week and earlier prior to the meeting. I did have one concern with this pole, as it is located within the SRA district and it hasn't been reviewed yet by the SRA. There was some confusion. It was right on the line, but was able to confirm that it is just inside of the train tracks. So I would like to have this go to SRA for review, which we already discussed. We are missing the meeting this week, so it will be their March meeting, March 13th, and then the next time that you're able to return would be March 28th. So I would like to keep the public hearing open until March 28th so we can receive the SRA feedback. And I also would like to note that I did comment that while there are I actually think it's a great location for this, and also somebody that will benefit from the increased service there, but there is a new building proposed right next to it as well. So we discussed that as well.
We did.
But I will be reaching out to the SRA to confirm to get this on the agenda for you. So
Terrific.
it will. So with that said, I move to keep the hearing open until March 28th.
Councilor Stott moves to keep the hearing open until March 28th. All those in favor? Any opposed? Matter carries.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening. Enjoy the snow, I guess.
Thank you. Appointments and reappointments.
We have held from January 11th, 2024 meeting the mayor's reappointments with the following terms to expire.
Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Hepworth. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Varela moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Hepworth. I'd just like to thank all of the reappointments here for their diligence and their work on these boards.
Any further discussion? On the reappointment of Jason Sidoriak, Jason Leese to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board, Patricia Small to the Council on Aging Board, and Gwen Roseman and Noreen Gashinard to the Public Art Commission. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Cohen?
Yes.
Councilor Davis?
Yes.
Councilor Harvey?
Yes.
Councilor Jerslow?
Yes.
Councilor Merkel?
Yes.
Councilor Masillo?
Yes.
Councilor Prosnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Stott?
Yes.
Councilor Varela?
Yes.
Councilor Watson-Felt?
Yes.
And Councilor Hapworth?
Yes. Thank you. Reappointment of Jason Sidoriak, Jason Leese to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board, Patricia Small to the Council on Aging Board, Gwen Roseman and Noreen Gashinard to the Public Art Commission. We have 11 councilors voting, 11 in favor, none opposed. The matter carries. Further appointments, reappointments.
We have held from the last meeting the mayor's appointments of the following with a term to expire.
Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Hepworth. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Varela moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Hepworth. I had the pleasure to speak to all three of these appointees, and just want to add a little bit. First, Ellen Simpson has been 5 years of the Affordable Housing League of Women Voters subgroup. After talking to Ellen, I really had a good feeling that this is going to be great for the ZBA. Ellen really definitely wants to, make sure public housing is on the forefront and people get the help they need. And looking forward to the work that Ellen will be doing. Next, we have Hannah Osthoff, who is an architect, originally from the Berkshires, lived in Cambridge about 10 years and called Salem her home in 2021. And it was great to talk to Hannah about why she wants to be on the ZBA, and it's really about making sure that our residents get the help and questions answered when it comes to zoning. So appreciate Hannah stepping up here. And we have Mr. Paul Carson for the Bicycle and Shared Path Committee. Mr. Carson wants to be a little more engaged with our local government here. He is infamous for the cargo bike you'll see around Salem. And originally from Eastern Pennsylvania. He is a teacher of all trades, and looking forward to Mr. Carson's work on the Shared Bicycle and Shared Path Committee. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I just want to quickly mention I'm really grateful for all these great appointees being willing to serve, and mention also that I have had the pleasure of being on the League of Women Voters Affordable Housing Working Group with Ms. Simpson, and I so appreciate the smarts and passion she brings to anything she's working on. So thank you, and thank you to all three for their service.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On the appointment of Ellen Simpson and Hannah Osthoff to the ZBA, Paul Carson, the Bicycle and Shared Path Committee. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Cohen?
Yes.
Councilor Davis?
Yes.
Councilor Harvey?
Yes.
Councilor Jerslow?
Yes.
Councilor Merkel?
Yes.
Councilor Masillo?
Yes.
Councilor Prosnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Stott?
Yes.
Councilor Varela?
Yes.
Councilor Watson-Felt?
Yes.
And Councilor Hapworth?
Yes. Thanks. The appointment of Ellen Simpson and Hannah Osthoff to the ZBA and Paul Carson to the Bicycle and Shared Path Committee. We have 11 councilors voting, 11 in favor, none opposed. The matter carries. Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I'd like to suspend the rules to allow Ellen Simpson, Hannah Osthoff, and Paul Carson to speak if they shall choose.
Councilor Varela moves to suspend the rules, seeing no objection. Paul, if you, thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be appointed to the ZBA, and I think Salem's going in the right direction in terms of building projects and dense, affordable housing and walkable development. I think I'm mixing up my words because I'm a little bit nervous, but I think we're going in the right direction, and I'm excited to be a part of the process of making projects into the best they can be, whether they're large projects or small, make sure they're the best they can be for Salem. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you both. Oh, and I believe there's someone on Zoom. If you want to unmute yourself, I'm sorry, if you want to, I think she's raised her, I believe you've been unmuted.
Again, Hannah.
Not yet, no. I can hear on my computer here.
I don't know if everyone can hear me, but I wanted to say thank you for appointing me to a full voting member of the ZBA. I'm very excited. I've had a great time on it so far. And
Further appointments or reappointments?
We have the mayor's appointment of Yamalis Cruz of 190 Bridge Street to the Scholarship and Education Committee with a term to expire on April 11, 2025.
Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I move that this be held under the rules.
Councilor Varela moves this be held under the rules. All those in favor? All opposed? Matters held under the rules. Further appointments or reappointments?
With the mayor's reappointments of the following with their terms to expire.
Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I also move that these be held under the rules.
Councilor Varela moves these be held under the rules. All those in favor? All opposed? The matter is held under the rules. Communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $76,420.89 be approved within the Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account to be expended for the contractual buybacks for 3 Salem School Department employees.
Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I move for the suspension of the rules.
Councilor Merkel moves to suspend the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I move for adoption.
Councilor Merkel moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Hapworth. These are contractual retirement buybacks. This appropriation is necessary to fund the retirement buybacks for these employees, and we thank them for their service to the Salem Public Schools.
Any further discussion? On Councilor Merkel's motion, the sum of $76,420.89 be approved within the Retirement Stabilization Fund Vacation Sick Leave Buyback Account to be expended for the contractual buybacks listed below. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order to accept the donation of $3,500 from Brianna Steed. The donation is to be deposited into the Parks and Rec Donation Fund.
Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I move for adoption.
Councilor Merkel moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Hapworth, and I just want to say thank you to Brianna Steed.
On the any further discussion? On the motion to accept the donation of $3,500 from Brianna Steed to be deposited into the Parks and Recreation Donation Fund, all those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
I just want to write down that Councilor Varela recused himself.
I'm sorry. I'd like to note that Councilor Varela has recused himself.
Thank you. We have a resolution for a tax increment finance, a TIF request from Chambers Property Holdings, LLC, to build out a restaurant to be located at 65 Washington Street.
Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I motion to refer to the Committee of Administration and Finance and also have this co-posted with Committee of the Whole.
Councilor Merkel moves to refer to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Hapworth. This resolution and the following agenda item are for a proposed tax increment finance agreement for tax exemption for the commercial space at 65 Washington Street. It's for the Chambers Property Holdings Restaurant Group, who currently own and operate Settlers. It is for a 5-year TIF, and all the details are in the backup documentation. For clarity, the TIF is not for the TIF is not for the base assessed value of the property, but for the difference between the projected assessed value and the base value. I am motioning for this to be sent to Administration and Finance Committee, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, so we can get questions answered and have an in-depth conversation about it. Kate Newell-Smith from Planning and Community Development has been the primary planner on this project, and she's happy to attend a committee meeting to give us a presentation and answer questions.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Merkel's motion to refer to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, all those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a tax increment finance agreement between the City of Salem and Chambers Restaurant Group, LLC, for a restaurant located at 65 Washington Street.
Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I motion to refer this to the Committee of Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Councilor Merkel moves to refer the TIF between the City of Salem and the Chambers Restaurant Group to the Committee of Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Hapworth. As I just stated in the previous motion, this is for the TIF as well.
On Councilor Merkel's, I'm sorry, for any further discussion? On Councilor Merkel's motion to refer the TIF between the City of Salem and the Chambers Restaurant Group to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Let Councilor Varela come back. Councilor, for the record, Councilor Varela has rejoined us. Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Watson-Felt.
Thank you, President Hapworth. In the year 2024, an ordinance relative to traffic be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Section 51B of Article 5 be amended by repealing the following. Pleasant Street. Parking prohibited at certain times on certain streets on the easterly side beginning 38 feet from the intersection of Pleasant Street and Webb Street and proceeding southerly for a distance of 125 feet. 15-minute parking limit. Section 2, Section 57A of Article 5 be amended by repealing the following. Pleasant Street, parking time limited, unmetered zones easterly side, starting at a point 59 feet from the intersection of Bridge Street in a southerly direction for a distance of 84 feet, 2-hour parking. And inserting the following. Pleasant Street, parking time limited, unmetered zones easterly side, beginning 45 feet south of the intersection with Bridge Street and extending in a southerly direction for 50 feet, 30-minute parking limit, Monday through Sunday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. This ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter.
Councilor Watson-Felt moves for adoption.
And I move for adoption of first passage.
Councilor Watson-Felt moves for adoption for first passage. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Hapworth. As this body has seen multiple times, the Director of Traffic and Parking, David Kaczarski, has been doing a lot of cleanup around the ordinances that exist citywide and in our neighborhoods around, as you can see here, layered ordinances and sort of confusing regulations. And so in this instance, he is suggesting that we repeal the two contradictory sections and instead insert a new ordinance, a new parking limit for these two specific spots. He's actually shortening the distance, and he is specifying the times, and he is extending or specifying 30-minute limit to help support not only the businesses that are right there on the corner, but we know that corner has seen a lot of changeover in business in the years past, and so this now will support what's there today, and therefore the neighborhood. People are allowed to park overnight, as they can see here. There's no limit. Thanks.
Any further discussion? On Councilor Watson-Felt's motion for adoption for first passage of an ordinance amending traffic, Chapter 42, Section 51B, parking prohibited at certain times on certain streets, 57A, parking time limited, unmetered zones, Pleasant Street. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Gerslow.
Thank you, President Hapworth. City of Salem, February 12, 2024, regular meeting. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Ordered that the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss the encampment on the South Harbor Walkway on issues relating to, but not limited to, health-related concerns, public nuisance matters, public safety for all, and the well-being of people staying in that area. Oh, moved, adopted.
Councilor Gerslow moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you, President Hapworth. Since March of 2023, a group of homeless individuals have been inhabiting the South Harbor Walkway and other areas here in Salem. Despite the city's efforts to rehome these individuals, some individuals refuse to vacate the encampment. In examining this matter, it would be a misdeed to ignore the gravity of the burdens that these individuals face. It is our responsibility to ensure their safety and health and that of the greater Salem community. Recently, the mayor and his staff have been developing a draft ordinance to regulate overnight camping on public property to include non-park public property. By bringing this matter to the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and Environment, we will all be able to invite the department heads to explore the proper next step in reaching a cohesive and long-term solution. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Presnowski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I applaud the Ward 1 councilor for bringing this matter to everyone's attention. I think it's about time that everybody get together and meet in one place so that we can find out exactly what is planned and how the city plans to address this issue. I know that I'm sure that all of us have had questions from our constituents about what is the city doing about it. And the thing is, we never had one concrete answer because we had all these different players that had their own opinions, and it didn't seem that the communication was needed to come up with some kind of a solution. I know that the mayor has now drafted a proposal, which I'm looking forward to, hopefully that he'll address at this meeting, and us all getting on the same page. And more importantly, that the public gets to hear that we are all concerned for the safety of those less fortunate than us, and especially with the impeding storm that we have coming once again. Their lives are in jeopardy based on their own decision to stay there, and we have to monitor that situation for their own safety. It's nothing that we can keep going in this direction, because all we're doing is hurting them even further. So I'm looking forward to this discussion. Thank you.
Councilor Watson-Felt.
Thank you, President Hapworth. Through you to Councilor Gerslow, just wondering, based on the conversation that's happening at council now, is the expectation to also invite certain stakeholders from the administration because they are not listed in the order? And if that's something that Councilor Gerslow would like to make an amendment to include, it sounded like reference to the mayor, potentially members of our Director of Board of Health or similar, public safety, similar. Thank you.
You don't need to, I think we can invite anyone we'd like to, so if there's other folks we want to invite, they don't need to be listed in the order necessarily. Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, President Hapworth. So I've spoken to Councilor Gerslow and also the mayor, and we'll coordinate this with the mayor and the department heads that the council referred to, especially because I think it's really important that we have language in front of us when we do speak about it. And then if it makes sense, then we can bump it up to the OLA committee. So I will schedule it based on the mayor submitting that to us. Thank you.
Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, President. Just to clarify, are we only speaking about the encampment on the South Harbor Walkway, or are we talking about encampments throughout the city?
Councilor Gerslow.
No, and like I said, it's all over the city. It's I know there's some up in the Salem Woods, there's some down in Fort Lee, It's all over the city. Everybody, I'm sure everybody's had complaints, all your councils, about it, you know, even the police department. So I think it's a citywide issue that needs to be addressed. Thank you.
So just as a, I think what Councilor Morcello is getting at potentially is that if, just to ensure that the public is aware of what we're discussing, we may want to amend the order just to not to just the South Harbor Walkway, but just to homeless encampments around the city potentially, so that folks who are living maybe in Gallows Hill or wherever could attend. So if you'd like to make that amendment, we can, I guess we'd vote on that amendment, Madam City Clerk? As amended, okay.
Says.
So do you accept that? Do you accept that friendly amendment?
Do I?
It's just an amendment to cover all of the encampments throughout the city, not just the one on the South Harbor Walkway. So if you want to second it, that's fine, and then we can, whatever.
Amendment. I second that.
It's just fine.
Any further discussion? On Councilor Jerslow's order that the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment co-posted with the Committee of the Whole meet to discuss homeless encampments around the city as amended. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Any further motions, orders, and resolutions? Seeing none. Committee reports. Councilor Morcello.
Thank you, President. City of Salem and City Council, February 12th, 2024. Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting of certain licenses, record exchange, which city consignments, Echo ATM for Shaw's and Eco ATM for Walmart, has considered said matter and would recommend that it be granted.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All opposed? Report is accepted. On the recommendation, under discussion.
No real discussion.
On the recommendation the licenses be granted, all those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Morcello.
Thank you, President. City of Salem and City Council, February 12th, 2024. Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of meeting to introduce a study and discussion of right-on-red ordinances and state laws for all traffic lights in the City of Salem. This meeting will introduce the data provided by the Traffic and Parking Department with additional data provided by the Police Department Traffic Division. We will also review the Federal Highway Administration's Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, guidance on red-on-red. Subsequent meetings will drill down on the data in 3 sections to be determined at this meeting, and then the backup materials. So we've considered the said matter and would recommend that it remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All opposed? Report is accepted. On the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you. That was this whole long thing was an attempt to make it very clear to the public what was on the agenda and what would be discussed. So the meeting was held on February 1st. It was a good kickoff to the discussion. We looked at the citywide map that was provided by Traffic and Parking, which gave every single traffic light in the city, whether it conformed to what the ordinances say, whether in many cases it did not, and then it also contained traffic data for the past 5 years on crashes specific to pedestrians and cyclists. Since that meeting, we've gotten new maps that are specific for since January of 2023 on the number of crashes, because really the way to look at this holistically is what have been the crashes there? Is there a lot of activity at that light? It's not enough to say that a pedestrian was injured or not. Sometimes right-on-red allowance causes cars to crash too. So it's really kind of, we're trying to look at the safety at the intersections. And so with that in mind, we have a meeting this Thursday to talk about the Highland Avenue area and the Loring Ave area, and we'll drill down on each of the lights. I will say that most of these lights for this meeting are state-controlled, and so what we'll be doing is discussing if there are any changes that need to be made, if there's changes to the ordinances that need to be made, and if there's anything we want the state to do, we'll be compiling a list and then advocating for some change on those roads.
Any further discussion? Councilor Harvey.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, President Hapworth. I guess my question is, when we have this next meeting, are we going to have any data in regards to what the incidents were? Were they people jaywalking? Were they actual cars turning right on red? Turning right on red and incidents like that? I mean, just so we can clarify what these, for instance, Highland Ave, I know that it said that there was 5 since January, but what were those 5? What was made up of those 5 accidents? Just so we can clarify, and so the public, we can explain to them exactly what the situation is also. Thank you.
Councilor Morcillo.
Thank you, President. Yes, Lieutenant Tucker will be there, and he knows that he needs to get more information on all of those incidents for each of the lights. But I will say that if any of the councilors or any of the members of the Traffic and Parking Commission have specific lights that they want more information on, please send an email to Mr. Kucharski and Lieutenant Tucker. They can make sure that they get better, as much information as they can, I have to say. I'm not sure exactly what the police reports will say, if they'll drill down to the level that we're asking questions about. But, I mean, they will do the best they can. So especially if you see a difference between the citywide map that we started with and then this drilled down map where it's looking at different time frames, so they can be ready with that kind of information also.
And just a friendly reminder to address all questions through the President. Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, President Hapworth. Through you to Councilor Morcillo. I had stated that I'm not available on the 29th, and I thought that the Lafayette Street, Washington Street, which is in Ward 5, was on Thursday. I thought you put that in your email out to the council. So I could be at that meeting. I can be at Thursday's meeting.
Councilor Morcillo.
I mean, we can take this offline. I'm going by the maps that the Traffic and Parking Department released. If there's, let's talk offline.
I'm going to make a motion that the meeting on Thursday is the Lafayette, Washington Street, because I will not be at the 29th meeting, and I think it's incumbent on the committee to have the ward councilor be at the meeting that is specific to those intersections. And there's a lot of intersections between Lafayette and Washington Street. So I make that motion.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Madam City Clerk, the motion is for the matter to remain in committee. With this conversation, this wouldn't be an amendment to this current order, I don't think. Am I thinking of that correctly? Councilor Cohen, my thought would be this would be, as Councilor Morcillo mentioned, this would be best to discuss offline, because the only motion in front of us is for this to remain in committee, not for anything specific to be discussed. Does that make sense?
I have a motion on the floor.
Can you clarify your motion, Councilor Cohen?
My motion is that the meeting on the 15th involves the Lafayette and Washington Street intersections as they are in Ward 5, and I, as the Ward 5 council, will not be at the meeting on the 29th when it was originally scheduled for that.
Councilor Prosnowski.
I'll gladly second that motion if that's really what's needed. I understand Councilor Cohen's interest in representing his constituents in traffic issues in his ward, and his that he really wants to be there, and that's very understandable. But I don't think that we need a motion. It's only going to be kept in committee, and I think that the committee will decide what can be discussed and what can't. And I can't imagine the committee not discussing something that you can't attend when it pertains to you and your constituents. So that's I don't think the motion is needed. I think the committee can decide that and have that taken up, your matters taken up in your corner when you're there. Thank you.
Any further discussion? So my belief, and trying my best to do this correctly here, my belief is that there is a motion on the floor, which was to that the matter remain in committee. There's now a motion on the floor that the matter remain in committee and that specific items be discussed. Am I thinking of this correctly? If anyone wants to, Councilor Morsola.
Thank you, President. The reason why I wanted to take it offline is because we have 3 meetings scheduled, and so I can move the things, but I don't want to, pull the rug out from under work that's already been done for this coming meeting when possibly it could go to the March 1st meeting. So that's why I would rather take this offline, if that's okay.
Would a motion to leave this in committee and to work with the Ward 5 councilor to discuss the streets that are covered, would that make sense to you in good faith, Councilor Crone? Okay. So any further discussion? So on Councilor Watson-Felt.
Thanks, President Hapworth. Apologies for making this more confusing. Yes, I think matter stays in committee as it's written. That's done. The motion to work with the Ward 5 councilor, I think to Councilor Cohen's point, the ward councilors whose areas are being reviewed want to be present. So it seems to me that the motion would most accurately reflect that by stating a motion that the chair of the committee work with the ward councilor to ensure their attendance at a future meeting when their streets are being reviewed, because that's, I don't want to be left out of it as the Ward 2 councilor because it specified the Ward 5 councilor. So, and I know that I think in good faith that the chair, Madam Chair, is happy to do that. But as a matter of procedure, let's just clear it up.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think that we're all working in the same direction here. I think that it would make sense. I think that to work with the ward councilor. So, any further discussion? So, on the motion to leave the matter in committee and to work with the ward councilor to determine the streets that are covered, all those in favor? All opposed? The matter carries. Thank you for bearing with me on that. Further committee reports. Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Hapworth. City of Salem and City Council, February 12, 2024, the Committee on Government Services co-posted with the Committee of a Whole, to whom was referred to the matter of creating an elections commission and the process involved, has considered said matter and would recommend remain in committee.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All opposed? Report is accepted. On the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, President Hapworth. So yeah, I feel we had a very productive meeting, kind of kicking off discussing the creation of an elections commission with the City of Salem. We had many stakeholders for our first meeting to little weigh in on if this is a good idea for our city. Should we be doing this? Happy to say that we did schedule another meeting for this month, and the intent of that is to review some other communities that have an elections commission, specifically Cambridge, Somerville, Revere, and Malden. They're around the same population size as Salem, and we'll also be discussing this with the city clerk of Everett, Sergio Cornelio, as well. So I think that having this next meeting will get us one step closer to seeing what the makeup of the proposed elections commission could be, and getting us a step closer to the home rule petition process. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On the recommendation that the matter remain in committee, all those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports, Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Hapworth. City of Salem and City Council, February 12, 2024. The Committee on Government Services co-posted with the Committee of a Whole, to whom was referred the request from Eagle Scout Colin Bowker for his Eagle Scout project to move an existing memorial of Benjamin Pierce at the rotary of Church Street and St. Peter Street to the center island on Church Street along the new plaque dedicated to Major General Stephen Abbott, has considered said matter and would recommend adoption.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All opposed? The report is accepted. On the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I know Councilor Presniewski has something to say. I'll keep it brief. We were happy to have Colin Bowker in our committee meeting to discuss the project in more detail. This project has been reviewed by the SRA because it's in the Urban Renewal District, and I commend Colin on his project. I think it definitely brings a little more clarity to and respect to the actual memorial, and look forward to this project taking place. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Presniewski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move that Scout Colin Bowker receive a city seal as a thank you for his hard work in reestablishing this memorial to a more suitable and respectful location. The original memorial right now sits on the ground where people can step on it, or it can be covered with snow or dirt. And it's in the parking lot that sits behind the East India Mall. It'll be moved over to the island behind Church Street, and I know that he put a lot of work into this into this project, and is earning the funds to have this moved himself. And I think as a thank you to him that he should receive a city seal. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on the recommendation that the matter be adopted, all those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Communications from city officials. Councilor Morcello.
We have the following order that was submitted by the city solicitor relative to the exemption of Mass General Law, Chapter 268A, Section 20B.
Councilor Morcello.
Thank you, President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Morcello moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, President. This is one of the programs that we have for seniors to help them pay their property tax. And I would like to remind the residents in Salem to connect with the information on the city website at salem.com, and to call for more help to figure out ways to lower your property tax, or which is through, we talked about this a couple months ago, through I can't remember what it's called right now at the state level, but you have to submit your tax returns. And so if people are not doing that right now, please make sure you do submit a tax return, even if you don't owe anything, because then you do become possibly qualified for other tax exemptions for real estate taxes. So thank you to these seniors in Salem for working in different departments and using that work to pay off their real estate taxes.
Any further discussion? On the order that the City Council declare several individuals to have met the requirements for exemption, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Cohen?
Yes.
Councilor Davis?
Yes.
Councilor Harvey?
Yes.
Councilor Jerslow?
Yes.
Councilor Merkel?
Yes.
Councilor Masillo?
Yes.
Councilor Presniewski?
Yes.
Councilor Stott?
Yes.
Councilor Varela?
Yes.
Councilor Watson-Felt?
Yes.
And Councilor Hapworth?
Yes. Thank you. On the order that the City Council declare several individuals to have met the requirements for exemption, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 in favor, none opposed. The matter carries. Further communications from city officials.
The following order that was submitted by the city clerk relative to the election order for the March 5th, 2024 presidential primary.
Councilor Presniewski.
Thank you. Order that the meetings of the qualified voters of the city of Salem be held on several voting precincts in the city at the polling places designated herein on Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, for the purpose of casting votes in the presidential primary for the election of candidates of political parties for the following offices: presidential preference for the Commonwealth, State Committeeman, 2nd Essex District, State Committee Woman, 2nd Essex District, Ward Committee, City of Salem. And the voting locations will be Ward 1 will be voting in Precinct 1 will be voting at the Bentley Academy, 24 Memorial Drive. Precinct 2 in the Community Room at 135 Lafayette Street. Ward 2, both precincts at the Community Life Center, 401 Bridge Street. Ward 3, both precincts, Salem High School Auditorium, 77 Wilson Street. Ward 4, both precincts, Witchcraft Heights School Gymnasium, 1 Frederick Street. Ward 5, both precincts, Salt and Stall School Auditorium, 211 Lafayette Street. Ward 6, both precincts, Bates School Gymnasium, 53 Liberty Hill Ave. Ward 7, both precincts, Salem State Enterprise Center, 121 Loring Avenue. And be it further ordered that the polls at the said meetings be open at 7 a.m., closing at 8 p.m., and that the city clerk be instructed to post the notice as required by the law. And I move that this be adopted by roll call vote. Thank you.
Do we need to read the Spanish portion? Councilor Varela?
Sure. I will do my best. I know Councilor Dominguez. I'll try to make him proud here.
Councilor Merkel for backup if needed.
All right. Ordeno que las reuniones de los volantes calificados de la equidad de Salem se celebren de los varios recintos electorales de la equidad en los lugares de votación designados a continuación el martes 3 de marzo de 2024 con el propósito de emitir votos en las primarias presidenciales para los candidatos de los partidos políticos para los siguientes cargos. Preferencia presidencial por esta mancomunidad. Comisionado Estatal Distrito Segundo de Essex, Comisionada Estatal Distrito Segundo de Essex, Comité Distrital Equidad de Salem, y se ordene además que los siguientes lugares celebratorios sean designados como lugares de votación para dichas reuniones. Recinto Distrito 1, Recinto Gimnasio Escuela Bentley Academy, 25 Memorial Drive. Recinto 2, Sala Comunitaria, 135 Lafayette Street. Recinto 1 y 2, Centro de la Vida Comunitaria, 401 Bridge Street. Distrito 3, Auditorio Salem High School, 77 Wilson Street. Distrito 4, Recinto 1 y 2, Gimnasio Escuela Witchcraft Heights, 1 Frederick Street. Distrito 5, Recinto 1 y 2, Auditorio Escuela Salt and Stall School, 211 Lafayette Street. Distrito 6, Recinto 1 y 2, Gimnasio Escuela Bates School, 53 Liberty Hill Avenue. Recinto 1 y 2, Salem State Enterprise Center, 121 Loring Avenue. Y se ordene además que las urnas en las dichas reuniones se celebran en las 7 a.m. y se cierren en las 8 p.m. y que se instruya en la Secretaría de las Municipal para que publique este aviso como le sigue y ley.
Good job, Councilor Varela. Councilor Prosnewski moves for adoption by roll call vote under discussion.
Gracias, Senor Varela. And with that, I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Prosnewski moves for adoption of the election order by roll call vote. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Cohen?
Yes.
Councilor Davis?
Yes.
Councilor Harvey?
Yes.
Councilor Jerslow?
Yes.
Councilor Merkel?
Yes.
Councilor Masillo?
Yes.
Councilor Prosnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Stott?
Yes.
Councilor Varela?
Sí.
Councilor Watson-Felt?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes. Thank you. On the motion for the adoption of the election order, we have 11 councilors voting, 11 in favor, none opposed. The matter carries. Petitions.
We have a following list of license applications for public guides, taxi operators, and vehicle for hire operators only.
Councilor Morsillo.
Thank you, President. I move that these be granted.
Councilor Morsillo moves these be granted. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Councilor Morsillo on the motion that these be granted. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have one secondhand clothing license application.
Councilor Morsillo.
Thank you, President. I move that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Morsillo moves these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On the motion that these applications be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have one claim.
Councilor Morsillo.
Thank you, President. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Morsillo moves to refer to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. Any discussion?
No discussion.
On the motion that these claims be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have a list of drain layer contractor operator license applications.
Councilor Morsillo.
Thank you, President. I move that these be granted.
Councilor Morsillo moves these be granted. Any discussion?
No discussion.
On the motion by Councilor Morsillo, these licenses be granted. All those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Any further business? Councilor Gerslow.
Thank you, President Hapworth. I request a point of personal privilege.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Councilor Domingo reached out to me, and he just wanted to let everybody know the Dominican Republic Independence Day is Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. The flag raising will be held at 3 p.m. at Lafayette Park, with a ceremony immediately following after the flag raising at the Saltonstall School Auditorium. There'll be music, dancing, as well as food, and everyone is invited to attend. A formal resolution will be brought in at the next City Council meeting on February 22nd, 2024. Unfortunately, we couldn't do the resolution before the next meeting, so he just wanted to invite and extend an invitation to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. I can't think of a better way to spend a Thursday night than music, dancing, and food with Councilor Dominguez. Any further business? Councilor Proznuski.
Move that this meeting be adjourned.
Councilor Proznuski moves for adjournment. All those in favor? All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.